For 13 years, Shwati carried something with her every single day. No, not a designer handbag, but chronic pain. It was there when she worked, slept, exercised, until suddenly it was gone, just like that. And the strangest thing, she did not know what to do without it. This is the story of how she let go of pain she never thought would leave.
Well, at the end of the session, you told me both the reason why the pain was there, and then we also healed the pain, which was amazing because I hadn't been pain free in a very long time. In fact, I wasn't even sure, like, I couldn't even comprehend how that could have happened. Like, in one session, how the pain that I had for so many years, how could it like just disappear like with a magic wand. And that night I
Okay, so you joined the cohort, and then from the cohort, you then ended up joining like a long term energy mastery coaching relationship with me. And how did that happen? And I know you kind of wanted to have a first session, but I'll let you explain or like share that experience. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
yes. So after the cohort ended, I I wasn't like quite sure. Like, I was interested in exploring further, um, and and working with you. But then I wasn't quite sure, and I was like, oh, this is again a time commitment, and then like a financial commitment. So then what I thought was, and then you had like these packages that were like for the long term, and then there were like so many choices and options that I had to make. So it was all kind of very fatiguing to choose, when like given these choices of this, should I take this one, or should I go with that package, or should I do this, or what if I just don't do anything. Like, I was, or maybe I'm just fine the way it is. So then I thought, let me just do like one off session to experience what it is like. Because what we did in the cohort was not at all kind of like related to what we did in the one off healing session. So then that's when I ended up reserving one off healing session with you, like right after the cohort had ended.
Right. Okay. So you you come to the cohort, and now you're like, okay, we're wrapping up. Like, if you want to continue working, here's another way to work. And you got curious, and we booked the one-off session, right? Because you were trying to figure out if the long term was even a possibility. Because I wasn't really doing one-off at that time, but because hey, like, I want to experience, and then I want to like go all in. So we did that. Tell me more about the first session. I think this was one of the banger sessions ever, because oftentimes from my side, I get to work with people, and it's like, even if you work together for like 6 months, 12 months, or like 18, right? It's like there's a larger theme because you have really big ambitious goals as a high performer. But then every session, it's like, okay, how much can we shift? Like, how much energy can we shift? What can we do? And then you beautiful human beings get to go out and live your life, and then we come back with the next one, and we work on that, right? So I don't often get to partake in the joy of like all seeing or feeling all the ripple effects of the session. So the couple of calls I've been doing, it's been amazing to have that. Oh, like, this is how that session had an effect, an impact on your life. And so this has been fun. And we spoke about it a little bit in a different call earlier. And I learned a lot about even just the first session. So can you share just anything about it in your own words?
Yes. So when we did the one off session, I wasn't really sure, like, what is it that I should get out of the session, very similar to what is it that I should get out of the cohort. And again, I was like curious and open minded, and we explored the various options. We talked through, like, what is it that we can do in, or, and then you asked me, like, Is there anything that you are wanting to achieve, like your goals? And then I didn't have like any clearly set committed goals. Or then you said, is there something like that's bothering you like right now at this moment? Then I thought of, oh, there is like in my physical body, there was this pain that had been bothering me for a very long time. It was like under my right armpit, like under the shoulder, inside the armpit. It's in the armpit. And I had been living with that pain for a very long time. It started like way back in July of 2011. And then then I asked, and then there was this thing about in the session about setting an intention. Then you asked me like, how would you set an intention? And I wasn't sure how to form an intention even. So then I said, okay, I want to know the reason why this pain is there. Then you told me that, do you want to know the reason why the pain is there, or do you want to like heal the pain and then move on? So then I was like, wait, is that an option? Then I said, okay, then how about we do both? Like, I want to know the reason and then also heal the pain. So then we went into the session, and well, at the end of the session, you told me both the reason why the pain was there, and then we also healed the pain, which was amazing because I hadn't been pain free in a very long time. In fact, I wasn't even sure, like I couldn't even comprehend how that could have happened, like in one session, how the pain that I had for so many years, how could it like just disappear like with a magic wand? And that night I I couldn't even like sleep because I had been carrying that pain like in my armpit, like around my shoulder region for so many years, and I used to like treat it like a very precious, like a very expensive Michael Kors handbag, and now suddenly the handbag is like stolen, it's gone, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? And I couldn't even I was so confused at night to even go to bed because I had been used to like sleeping in a certain posture, making adjustments and living around it. And suddenly it's gone. And there is this void, and it was just unbelievable. Like, yeah,
Okay, cool. Yeah, so just to like recap some of it, in sessions we go in and we set a clear intention so that we can shift the energies around it, any subconscious beliefs and any energetic blocks that we need to move. We do that, and then we do the quantum healing. So that was precisely the question. It's like if you had a magic wand, what would you use that wand to wave for, right? And I love that how quickly you were going from, I just want to know why this has been happening for like, if I'm correct, it's 13 plus years that by the time we met, right?
yes,
This pain has been going on for 13 plus years, which I did not know even when we booked the session. I had no idea what the session was going to be about.
yes,
So even for me, it was just like in that moment is when I'm coming to know about this. And I don't think we even spoke about this pain being 13 years long, or I just knew it was a long term. Like I just knew it was chronic. And I grew up with a lot of chronic pain, so I understand the gravity of it, the all the emotional, financial commitments that go into just like maintaining and managing the pain, especially if anything is chronic, right? So that was my understanding. So I only knew about all these things much later. I was like, oh wait, really? That was the, like 13-year-old pain was a revelation I had much later. Having said that, so you had this for like such a long time. Can you talk about what was your like the quality of your life like? What was the emotional, financial cost that went into just managing the pain, your life, your ambitions around that pain, and you were also coding, right? So you had to like use the keyboard a lot. Did that interfere with your work? How was that like?
yeah. I think when it first started, it was back in 2011, and I was working for American Airlines back then. for my employer. That's when it was most interfering like with my work because of the ergonomic position. So what I had done was I did a like an ergonomic assessment that was offered by my employer at the workplace, and then we made some adjustments to my desk. We got like a different sort of like a keyboard tray where the keyboard would be like much closer to my body, and then there is like a 90-degree right angle by like the shoulder to the elbow and then elbow to the wrist. So we did all these things, and then I was also going to like I went to my primary care physician, then I who referred me to a couple of specialists. Then I tried physical therapy for some time. Then I tried going to a chiropractor for some time. And then in 2013 I got pregnant. So then my OBGYN, she said that, oh, this is like a pregnancy related carpal tunnel. So and then so she labeled pregnancy in front of the whatever that I was trying to still figure out. And then I was kind of like stuck with the diagnosis, and I was stuck with my OBGYN for a while because all these other providers that I was going to, like my chiropractor, and then my physical therapist, so they were all like, oh, this is now pregnancy related something something, so we don't really like, or we are not qualified to treat this, or you have to like seek a different kind of a provider. And also during my pregnancy, my OBGYN had also suggested that I start doing some prenatal yoga at the time. So, which was like the first time I started doing yoga ever. And I did find some relief while doing the yoga. So, even after the childbirth, I continued like going to the yoga sessions, and I was able to like manage the pain or like work around the pain a little bit because I used to find pain relief then. And then later on, much later on, I found an lymphatic drainage therapist who was helping me, and her sessions had helped me. But then what ended up happening was, so after I have the lymphatic drainage therapist, like the massage therapist session, it used to go away for some time, maybe for a couple of hours. And then the next time when the pain comes back, it used to, I feel like it used to come back with so much of vengeance, because it's like for a slight couple of hours I was living pain free. And then when it used to come back and it used to shoot up, I felt like, oh my god, this is so much more like unbearable, like hell. It was, I should have just left it the way it was even in the first place, because it was like a maybe like a dull achy, I got used to it sort of a pain. And then suddenly like there is like this dip, or the period where it disappears, and then when it comes back and then it just shoots up to the top. But then I did find relief in those sessions, so I used to continue to see her, probably I would say twice a month, because it was much of a drive for me where I was living from my house. Like just to get to her house, it used to be in the traffic, like an hour, and then coming back an hour. And say I spent an hour with her, then it's like a 3 hour thing, even on a weekend. And it was so much of a like a time commitment for that. And eventually what ended up happening was in 2020, when there was this COVID lockdown, she had also like she stopped seeing patients because of the lockdown. So then there was a, like a period of time more than 3 or 4 months when I had not seen her because she was not seeing anybody. And then I kind of got used to it. So that's when I, like maybe around September of 2020, I kind of even stopped seeing her.
Yeah. Yeah, I have, by the way, everything you've tried, for those who are watching, those are great resources, by the way. Like all these things help, like lymph therapy, obviously PT helps, your doctors help. And I have I have known a lot of people who have gone through similar journeys for like different kinds of pains, and different levels and intensities of pain. And also, I have done that for myself as well. Not necessarily your same level of intensity or the same area of pain or anything like that, right? But I can totally relate to all of that. Having to travel 1 hour for a 1 hour appointment, and then it's like 3 hours, and then the planning and like all these things. So uh, I think earlier when we did the math, if we just took the lymph therapist, because my understanding from our previous conversations is that the lymph therapy was the one that had the most relief for you, right? So if you could have kept it, that's probably what you would have wanted to have gone to almost like for 13 years if you knew about it, if you had the access, if no one was shutting it down, right? So we did the rough math. It was like 3 to 5K per year. And so even if you're doing a conservative math, it's like 3K per year, 13 years, it's close to like 40K. That's just from one health practitioner who can help you. Would you say, like, obviously it has to be multiples from my perception, because I have similar experiences, it has to be multiples of that, right? Across the 13 years of like pain management.
Yeah, I would say so. And also, so there is this, like in United States, those in network, out of network, in coverage, out of coverage. So finding a provider and then hoping that they will be in network, so it will be much less out of my pocket. And then there is also all the financial commitment around buying like a wrist splint or a brace and all those things, sort of a equipment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. That's a quite a journey. And I have much respect for anyone who has like gone through any kind of like chronic pain and still managed to be a functioning member of the society, and especially like a high performer like yourself. So so that was your experience before, and then you have the session. Obviously we don't have to dive into the session. We'll just like skip forward. And so after the session, I love how you jokingly said you lost your Michael Kors handbag. So now you've lost your Michael Kors handbag, and now you don't know what to do because you're feeling a little bit like, should I have lost it? Is it going to come
Yeah.
back? And I think that's the other part of it, which is when the pain subsides, and you're used to it coming back with a vengeance. I think that's another thing that most people with chronic anything, even if it's headache, right? Like chronic headaches, chronic stomachache, whatever it could be. Anytime we try to manage the pain instead of getting to the root cause, again, getting to the root cause is not always possible. Sometimes you don't even know that option exists. Sometimes you don't have access to the people who can help you with it. But when we manage the pain, which I've done a lot, I grew up with like, one of the things was like intense headache, and it was always that thing of like, okay, I can take the headache pills tonight. Is tonight important, or like 2 nights from now is important, because it's gonna come back with a vengeance. So am I sacrificing, like, if this is a Monday, am I sacrificing Wednesday and Thursday for it, or do I want to just sit with it and like be functional Wednesday, Thursday? So I get that, and I get why after a session where the pain has dissolved, you're like literally sleepless. You're trying to figure out, am I in the safe area? Is this safe?
Yeah. Yeah, we actually, I remember we did talk about this during one of my follow-up sessions too. Like, because I was so confused about, I was just waiting to see, because I told you there were, even after I had seen the lymphatic drainage therapist and had a session with her, there would be like a period, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes 18 hours, wherein I'm not with the pain and then the pain shoots up. So I was like waiting to see, is this like that one of those like periods where there is void and it's like blank and nothing's getting recorded by the brain? So I was just waiting and waiting, and then it never came back. So it's like, wow. Like I didn't know if it was too soon to celebrate that it is a like an accomplishment that it's permanent, or if it's like just that lull period and then it's going to come back. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually remember the email too. I think you just like um, you came back after 4 or 5 days, and then this is sort of what you told me. You were like, I was just waiting to see if it was gonna come back, and I still can't believe it, but I wanna see how working even longer term would look like, and then we never actually talked about that pain for a long time, which I understood as it's healed and it has stayed healed, and then you went on to conquering other quests in your life. So now I'm very curious about talking about that, but I just want to make sure that you feel complete. Is there anything else that you want to talk about this pain before we move on to your next? You have like a Sanskrit gold medal, LinkedIn presence, and going on stages and speaking. You have like a bunch of wonderful things coming up. But anything else you want to share before we move forward to the next one?
No, I guess we have covered it all around the the one healing session that I had for like my chronic under the armpit shoulder region pain on the right side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Perfect. So then we move into like I think we move into like a 6 month or something at that point, right? Or like a year long. I don't remember, but
We did the year long after because I couldn't believe, and I was like, wait, if if this has happened with one obsession, then maybe I should like just like get the best baggage out there.
right. Thank you for the trust. Yeah, I had no idea. Like I said, I usually don't have the full picture of like what the
Yeah.
ripple effects of the session is. So this is great. I'm enjoying this call. Okay, cool. So yeah, cool. So we start. We don't have to necessarily go in a linear order because you've been doing so many things. So whatever interests you, we'll just talk about it. So obviously, the things that come to mind for me, you have the Sanskrit, you have the LinkedIn presence, you have the all the speaking gigs that you've been beautifully doing. You've been building your social media presence, and yeah, take your pick, and we'll just chat about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can start with the my speaking engagements.
Okay. Cool.
We just take the 2024 alone. I have had a lot of speaking engagements in person and online, like virtual. I would say close to more than a dozen, like maybe 12, 13. Yeah.
Healing 13 plus years of pain is one thing, but owning your voice, that's a challenge entirely different. Most people fear public speaking. Shwati once did too, until she found herself on stage over 12 times. Click here to learn how it all unfolded.